everyone, welcome to the show. I'm Amy.
And I'm Sarah, and today we're going to be discussing 1111 by Micalea Smeltzer.
The first few minutes we're going to do a brief review of this story without any spoilers, then we are going to shift into a deeper book discussion. It's going to include lots of spoilers, but don't worry, we're going to let you know before we do shift into that deeper book discussion.
That's right. So before we dive in, Amy, tell us what 1111 is all about.
Following her divorce, a woman moves across the country to start a new life following her dream of opening an art studio. She doesn't count on meeting and connecting with a guy 11 years younger than her. This small-town reverse age gap has art, banter, and spice. Sarah, what did you think about 1111?
I think this story is incredible. We are suckers for an age gap romance, and I specifically love this one because it is a reverse age gap romance, which we don't find a lot. And I love how the author approaches this, like the stigma that there is upon an older woman dating a younger man. I felt like it was very authentic. The whole time I was reading, I just kept thinking this relationship, their chemistry felt so
authentic.
It felt authentic and genuine. It felt so real. And I love how the author chose to approach it. She, the main character, very much like the feelings, like I think those are valid reasons and thoughts and things that you would feel. And they just kind of go on a beautiful journey. There's a lot that takes place. What did you think?
Absolutely. I also, of course, loved the age gap version of this story and the fact that it's a woman, like the reverse age gap. Like you said, we don't get to experience that very often in stories. And so I'm here for it. And the banter and the chemistry that you talked about, chef's kiss.
So good.
Let's get into our ratings. Angst.
Okay, angst. This was just like a 1.25. I didn't feel like
I did one.
Yeah, I didn't feel like the story was overly angsty. There's a couple of moments where I'm like, but it wasn't an angsty story.
I completely agree. The angst level is pretty low for this story. Humor.
Humor. This was a 1.75. I kind of wanted.
I was lower.
You were lower. I didn't feel like it was like, like the whole time. But there are some moments that were kind of lighthearted, and Reed tries to lighten some of the female characters' anxiety about things.
That's true. I was pretty low. I did 0.5. It could probably be a little higher than that. You may have to remind me of some of the funny things because nothing came to mind when I was making these notes that just was overly humorous.
It's not a comedy.
No, it's not.
It's not a rom-com, but there are some moments in it that are kind of funny and situations that I just thought, And maybe it's my sense of humor. I don't know. Like if I was 11 years older than somebody.
That's true.
Like, I'm laughing because I'm embarrassed.
That's true. All right. Spiciness.
This was a 3.
Okay.
And it could go up or down for people depending on what they classify, but nice job, Sarah. Very nice.
I teetered between 3.5 and 3.75. There are not a ton of scenes, but what is there is got lots of detail, leaves nothing to the imagination.
For somebody so young, he has quite the way with words.
Yes, he does.
We'll say that.
Yes, he does. We'll leave it at that. Tears.
Tears. This was a 1.25 for me.
I did 1.
Yeah, there's some sad components to it.
Even though the female main character is dealing with something very heavy, compared to some of the other stories that we've read recently around similar topics, I felt like the sadness level in this story was pretty low.
Yeah, I agree.
And I think that's attributed to the way the author chose to write the story. So, all right, overall.
Overall, this was a 4.5 for me.
I did a 4.25.
I love
such a good story.
It was so good.
I love the age gap part. Yeah.
I did too. I love that it just felt so
genuine.
Real.
Yeah.
It felt so genuine. I couldn't get over it because sometimes you can kind of not
get on board.
Yeah.
This story was a delight. I loved it.
I agree.
All right, that concludes the spoiler-free quick review of the story. Now we're going to shift into a deeper discussion, which is going to include lots of spoilers. If you would like to continue with us on that discussion, simply click the link below or open any available podcast platform and search for Postbook Depression. Then we would love to connect with you on social media. You can find us on Instagram at Postbook Depression Podcast, on Facebook in our Postbook Depression discussion group. You can also email us at postbookdepressionpodcast@gmail.com.